forgot to do my game audio. Oopsie. Yoink. Alright, there we go. Hopefully that sounds okay. Not, please let me know. We're so back. Food. Alrighty. Sonozaki Group's office had been turned into a shelter for the local residents. We could see the townsfolk lying down here and there, huddled under blankets. You could say that the Sonozaki Group is this region after all. Under my mom's orders, we've been taking in people with nowhere else to go since the chaos started. What do you mean, people with nowhere to go? She means people just like Une-chan, those that came here for work or visited for pleasure. There are a lot of people from outside of Okinomiya that got caught up in this mess. The watch went after those with nowhere else to go first. We could have fought against them, but Akane-san ordered us to avoid that. So after securing as many people as they could, they built up their surroundings with those barricades to limit their contact with the watch and prevent any further trouble. To the watch, all outsiders were the infected. If they knew so many outsiders were being sheltered here, there would be big trouble.
Is this place safe?
I can guarantee it's the safest place in Okinomiya. The community center was the main shelter at first, but that place has collapsed, so this is what's left.
Collapsed?
You know what they say about too many cooks. What started as just fighting over leadership led to murder. It's terrifying. I see. The leadership here is solid, so you've managed to establish order and keep people from handing their hearts over to the demons.
Impressive. So are the police and such still operating then?
They're scattered across the city responding to riots, and there are lies going around that they're harboring infected. This situation's beyond anything the police were prepared for. There's no way they could handle it. That said, you were brave out there, Tomitake. Where did you get such a wonderful gun? Well, I just happened to pick it up. Liar! Liar! You know, that's not one amateurs could handle. You're a man of many mysteries.
Rika? Rika?
What's the matter? Huh? Rika-chan's not here. Une-chan's gone too.
I thought I saw those two talking over there just a moment ago.
The girls are fighting?
What do you mean, Hanyu? What's your issue with this girl?
Quiet. I'm speaking to her right now.
What are you saying? Who on earth is this Une girl?
The sound of a tuning fork echoed in Rika's head. The tone gradually changed, almost like it was being, well, turned. Rika understood. This was a conversation between inhuman beings. It was like they were using a radio. They were searching for the right wavelength to allow mutual conversation, which meant this Une girl had to be... This is Hanyu, leader of the Horned People. Who are you? That was when both tones began to resonate. A bright light enveloped everything. The moment that light cleared away, Rika, Hanyu, and Une were floating in the world of inhuman beings. Oh! The eyes of the young girl named Une occasionally took on the same light that dwelled within Hanyu's. I was certain. This girl was someone like me and Hanyu. Some inhuman being. Hanyu stared long into Une's eyes, waiting for her response. Oh! Not sure how I feel about the skirt part, but the top is cute.
I am Une. I am afraid.
There's nothing to fear. We have no intention of fighting anyone. What people do you come from? What followed in response wasn't words, but something conducted through telepathy. Various images were practically forced into Rika's head, like she was being compelled to daydream. The ocean of stars in space, her blue earth shining in the distance. Apparently, Una was something that had only recently arrived on Earth. She had finally arrived at this land after a long journey, just as Hanyu's people had.
So that's the case. After your long journey, you finally...
I was frozen in that pitch-black ocean. I finally reached this land. Yet...
Rika finally realized it. She was terrified. She had finally arrived here, and now she was anxious as to whether she could live safely or not. It wasn't unreasonable. From her perspective, as an inhuman being, it was far too dangerous in Okinomiya with the current uproar. The people turned ferocious by N173 were killing each other in a sight out of hell. It was far too sad for her to receive such a welcome, after finally reaching this land after her long frozen journey through space. Hanyu then followed up by sending Una images of what she knew. For a while, Rika's head was flooded with both of their passing images, her mind like a television screen flickering between channels. Then they finally understood each other's upbringing, circumstances, and present situation. Rika was also able to convert those concepts into human words and understand it vaguely. First off, she understood that Una was the same as Hanyu and Tamura, an inhuman being. She was one of the inhuman people from space who lived within humans just as humans lived on Earth. She reached this planet just the other day. However, that was according to said inhuman being's perception of time, so it might have been several years. Her body had finally acclimated to Earth, and she had just regained self-awareness. She was more of a seed as she drifted through space, and only regained her self-awareness after taking root here on Earth and finally budding. Rika also understood the special nature of Une's people. The special nature of Hanyu's horned people drove people to paranoia when they grew unstable and caused their hearts to become possessed by those demons. That was a disadvantage for them when trying to coexist with humanity, and it was a problem both Hanyu, Tamura, and the horned people recognized. That problem is also the aspect that Takano showed interest in. In Une's case, her people carried no such disadvantage. They were much better adapted to coexisting with humanity than Hanyu's people were.
So unlike you, they're the type that Tamura would have welcomed.
There's no way Tamura Hime no Mikoto would welcome any new arrivals. To her, both Una and I are equally terrifying invaders.
Une's people possessed strength nearly equal to Hanyu's.
Strength? The image that's pouring into my head is the strength of a plant's roots.
Fragile flowers that bloom beautifully in a flower garden will sometimes be overtaken by wildflowers with powerful roots. It's that same strength.
In Hanyu's world, their peoples were better described with the concept of plants than animals. Yes, even in the world of plants, there was survival of the fittest. Hanyu and Une had very strong power to survive. Their peoples were hardy species with strong roots.
So what about Tamura's people? The ones that view you as an enemy?
Her people are much weaker than mine. However, that's no one's fault, nor is it fate. It's just the special nature we were born with.
And that's why she feels attacked. I see. I wonder if Akasaka is one of Une's people, because he's super strong. And I don't think he's one of the horned people. To these inhuman beings, the Earth was a big flower bed. They were all trying to sow their seeds and allow their species to flourish. In the past, Tamura's people were the only flowers blooming in the flower bed of Earth. Then Hanyu's species showed up, and with their strong reproductive ability, they quickly dried up Tamura's people and increased their population. So of course, from Tamura Hime no Mikoto's perspective, they were invaders. On top of that, Hanyu's species posed the risk of destroying the flower bed if they grew unstable. Nothing could survive if the flower bed was destroyed. So that's why Hanyu's people agreed to confine themselves to Hinamizawa, the flower bed best suited for them, until they were able to gain the power to coexist with their flower bed. Yet now, this Une, a species with the same amount of strength, has once again entered the flower bed. Fortunately, Une's people will not harm the flower bed. However, they possess the strength to easily wipe out Tamura's people.
We have no such intentions. We just want a little bit of land for ourselves.
I understand how you feel. I support you in this as well, as one who has also crossed the ocean of stars.
In that case, she's just arrived at the worst possible time. It's hard to imagine Tamura welcoming another species with Hanyu's people running rampant like they are now.
I'm scared. We simply want to come quietly in peace.
Is there no land beyond Tamura's reach?
Nearly all the land of Japan belongs to Tamura's people. Even if she were to leave Japan, there are other peoples living in those lands too. So the Earth is like a full apartment complex with no
vacancies.
But I believe Tamurahime no Mikoto's people are claiming too much. We must respect those who have lived here before us, but they should share the land. Tamura's a bully for monopolizing it. Oh!
Why don't you just go all Sengoku era and compete for the land? Survival of the fittest is the law of nature, right? That's crazy.
Because that would lead to something terrible. Our flower bed and this very planet would meet their end. Oh!
Now that you mention it, you and Une are about equally as strong, right? What would happen if you fought? Rika just wants a 1v1 so bad.
I don't want to fight.
Why is her name in all caps?
I don't want to fight either, and there's no point in fighting her anyway, because our strength is equal.
Meaning what?
In our case, the flower bed would go to the fastest one. Oh!
I don't want to fight.
So you're saying that the people of Hinamizawa can't be infected by Une, right?
That's right. And likewise, the humans with Une's parasite can't come down with Hinamizawa syndrome.
That would be correct.
I think I might have figured out how to identify aliens. Anyway, something's nagging at me. This means... Hanyu, what were we doing again?
Oh, did you hit your head on tofu or something?
We can't allow Takano to run wild, right? She's trying to spread N173 throughout the world, so our goal is to stop that, right?
Yes, it is. But what about it?
You're an idiot! A huge idiot! I can't believe it! It's two birds with one stone!
I don't really understand you.
We just need to forget about Tamura and help this girl live freely on our planet. I mean, the humans possessed by Tamura's people can be taken over by Une, right? And the people Une's taken over can't be taken over by your people. The pair of stupid aliens both tilted their heads in confusion. Makes sense. Now all the pieces are in place. I know the identity of Takano's devil. This is all we have to do. So we just need to get Une into the people of Japan faster than Takano. Once we do that, no one will become infected, even if Takano spreads N173 everywhere. Well, I would feel kind of bad about clearing Tamura's people out, so why don't we stick to just the prefecture so we could block Takano in? There's 47 different prefectures, so Tamurahime no Mikoto can spare at least one. Once we've surrounded Takano with Une, she won't be able to spread the infection any further. We'll seal off the spread of N173 and be able to prevent further damage. Now I get it. That development would prove fatal from Takano's perspective. Une has to be the true identity of the devil she spoke to Tomitake about. That's the only thing that makes sense. Une and N173 are evenly matched. They can't beat each other. If we infect people with Une before they get N173, then we'll ruin all of Takano's plans. So there you have it.
Oh! That's an incredible idea, Rika!
I kind of understand. Maybe.
This is an incredibly good idea! Una will get to live on our planet, and we'll be able to prevent any more tragedy. Plus, we'll drive Tamura out of this prefecture, so it's 2 birds with 1 stone.
Rest in pieces, Tamura. That's crazy.
Una occupies the entire prefecture, then Tamura's people will be driven out of here. That would mean we'd never see Tamura Hime no Mikoto again, unless we left the prefecture, and we wouldn't have to listen to her complaints. For the first time in 1,000 years, we could strike a blow against the god who claimed all of Japan for herself and nagged us anytime we set even a foot upon her land. She's so happy! Hanyu was dancing with joy. She must be thoroughly at odds with Tamura. Well, with such an arrogant attitude and condescending posturing, even Rika wanted to strike her after only meeting her once. What should I do? There's nothing we can do about Okinomiya. After all, this city's already infected with N173, so you can't infect the people here, right? That's right.
In that case, what should we do?
Well, According to Tomitake, all means of transit out of the city have been cut off to prevent the spread of infection. In other words, we couldn't get Une out of N173's infected region. We would have to escape the city before Takano does and spread Une's people. We should probably talk to Tomitake and gain his support. Since Tomitake knows about the parasitic neurovirus, he should understand our situation too. Even if he does reject the idea of spreading Une, the information could lead to the discovery of a new treatment or even a vaccine.
Rika called Tomitake over and explained the situation. Of course, gaining his understanding took until dawn. Yet even so, he ultimately understood. Interesting. Alright, we'll have to leave the decision up to Tokyo, but her existence it's a huge deal. If Une-chan's willing to cooperate, then we can prepare comfortable accommodations for her as well.
I wouldn't be opposed to being comfortable. Tomitake is an understanding man. I'm sure he'll treat you well, Une. I'm happy.
The end of the tragedy is finally in our sights.
Well, we can't claim that until we get Une outside of the city. But it's at least one problem solved, I suppose.
The Sonozaki Group's office was the safest and most tightly guarded place in Okinomiya. It had food, resources, weapons, everything. They had Tomitake's understanding and cooperation. They had Une's cooperation as well. In terms of chess, they were now a few moves away from checkmate. It was the perfect time for their opponent to give up. Yippee! Hi, Kimono, how are you? Unless the Joker, Takano, caused some kind of uproar.
Plus, there's that obnoxious Tamura Hime no whatever.
She's not likely to welcome what we're trying to do now.
That was when they heard the ringing of a tuning fork, and bright white light enveloped both Rika and Hanyu. She's here. Tamura Hime no Mikoto.
Speak of the devil.
How dare you, leader of the horned people? Truly you have been plotting to taint our land with your filthy shoes. Doing good? I'm glad to hear it. I'm also good. I'm just eepy.
We will welcome our new friend Une, yet that does not mean we will steal all of your land.
Be quiet, tainted one. Know that we shall not permit your conspiracy to corrupt our land.
Listen, there's this villain, Takano, and she's plotting to spread what you call the horned people to all of Japan. No, the entire world. If she does, then your people will be exterminated. Getting angry at us isn't going to prevent that from happening. If you're willing to cede a bit of land to Une, then Une's people can live on this planet, and you won't lose any more land. Hanyu won't have to see your face ever again either, and this can all be settled quietly between you three.
Be quiet, child of man. Know that you are not permitted to use your tainted words.
Ow. Stop using that headache power.
She's always been stubborn and refuses to listen. Nothing you say will ever get through to her.
You are the one who never listens. You tainted people. You horned people. My anger has not abated, even after 1,000 years.
I could say the same to you. I haven't lost any of my anger either, for all of your harassment.
I didn't know what kind of history those two shared, but if they held on to their grudges for a millennium, then the cause of their antagonism ran deep. Apparently, their history really isn't something humans, who only live for around a century, could moderate. Well, that's just how gods are. Humans worship them all on their own, and yet the gods themselves are more human than humans. There are plenty of myths in every country about gods arguing and fighting with each other. I don't care about the fight between you two, Tamara no whatever. If you don't want to listen, that's fine. But this is the only way to stop the tragedy happening in the human world.
You wouldn't understand anything I said anyway, foolish priestess of the horned people. Know that I have no intentions of exchanging words with a tainted priestess either.
You're a god, okay? But you really tick me off. Maybe we shouldn't stop at one prefecture and just take Toyama and Gifu while we're at it too.
I will not allow it. Know that I shall not allow you to corrupt the lands of my people once more. There was the sound of glass shattering, followed by an angry, bellowing roar. What happened? Considering the timing, it was obvious Tamura had done something. Yet Tamura Hime no Mikoto was an inhuman being like Hanyu. She shouldn't be able to interfere with the world of man directly. Takano-san? Oh! Hi! Hello, Jiro-san. I had faith you and I would meet again. Takano had broken through the window and flew into the office. The whole spectacle was as flashy as a scene from a movie, and the men were all taken aback. Of course, even Tomitake couldn't avoid being dumbstruck. She was always unpredictable, but that was only in personality. She had never had the physical ability to accomplish something like that. The men of the Sonozaki group understood she was hostile from the aggressive smile on her face. Yet unlike with the rioters, they were unsure of how to respond. Meanwhile, Takano was different. She understood exactly what she needed to be doing. Tomitake soon understood too. Her target was Une. If we spread Une's infection throughout Japan first, then N-173 will become useless. There won't be anything Takano can do then, but since she knew that from the start, she's targeting Une. Trying to uncover where she was hiding out in Okinomiya was inefficient, but once the Sonozaki group started sheltering people, Takano realized something. She just had to wait here, and Une would come to her. I only have business with that girl Une. Could you bring her out for me by chance? I don't know what you're talking about. You don't need to play dumb. I've been watching you this whole time, after all. I won't let you. We're going to contact Tokyo. Who? Oh, they're so ugly. Pardon me for interrupting. Welcome to the Sonozaki Group's office, Mio-san. My, quite the procession. Shion appeared with an array of tough men in tow. It went without explanation that Takano was an uninvited guest. Hold on. Oh, I need some water for this one. You're a tough woman, but I think you've gone too far now. I think you're about to understand just how strong I am. Oh! Gah! Gah! Oh my gosh. Takano grabbed one head each in both her right and left hands, slamming them against opposite walls. I'm sorry. Your arm length spans from one wall to the other? That's a really tiny hallway you're standing in. Where did such monstrous strength come from in that slender frame? No, even someone huge couldn't have produced such strength. The physics of it were all wrong. Even if her slender frame did house monstrous strength, she couldn't have picked those big men up and thrown them so easily from that particular stance. Oh, so she threw them. Okay, I see. Shion, Kasai, and the other men watched in shock, and all they could do was stare at Takano's otherworldly power.
Shion-chan, if you don't pay attention, then your head will get splattered everywhere.
Shion's dumbstruck eyes met Takano's, and for once she cringed with fear. I couldn't blame her. When a human witnesses something beyond their understanding, they're completely unable to act until they can explain it. Takano's arms looked like huge bear paws to her, and before she could blink, those arms were swinging ferociously towards Shion. Look out! As Kasai shoved Shion out of the way, oh gosh. He grabbed Takano's swinging arm and used her own force to capture her arm behind her and shove her body onto the floor.
My.
What a frightening person. Where on earth did you obtain such strength? Kasai! Way to go! He got a good lock on her joints and pressed her into the ground. No matter how much strength she had, she shouldn't be able to struggle any longer. Takano wriggled in an effort to escape, but she just looked like a pathetic bug pinned on its back. You should cease your futile resistance. Kasai's a scary man, so if you struggle too much, he might break your arm. I won't do it unless it's necessary, but I'm no gentleman, so forgive me if it comes to that.
My, oh no, I really can't move.
With her joints locked so securely, it would hurt enough for her to It should hurt enough for her face to twist in pain. Yet Takano remained collected and seemed amused at her inability to move.
Is this the full extent of the power you're granting me? It's not, is it?
Takano used her other arm, and with just that single arm, lifted both herself and her grappler, Kasai. It was like we were watching some kind of circus performance. No. Takano's irregular, monstrous strength allowed her, with just one arm, to lift both herself and Kasai into the air. Even Kasai couldn't avoid being shocked. In the next moment, he lost his hold of her, and she spun Kasai like a blender, throwing him against the wall. You're having too much fun! Shion got behind Takano, and pale blue sparks could be seen. She had driven her trump card, her stun gun, into Takano's body. No matter how strong you are, nobody can withstand electric jolts. Yet Takano just calmly turned around.
My, what is that?
That's impossible!
To think a mere child would do such a thing to the priestess of a god. What a bad girl.
Takano's hand seized hold of Shion's face. Shion groaned and fought back, and we heard her skull grating, her resistance like a baby's against Takano's vice-like strength.
This is your punishment, okay?
The next moment, Shion's body was splayed out against the wall. For Shion, it was no different than her body being slammed into the ground. It felt just like she'd been thrown out of a second story and slammed into the hard, concrete ground. Then her body slid down and crumpled on the floor with a groan. Yet Takano was about to walk towards Shion again, looking for something else from her. Stop this now, Takano-san. I don't want to shoot you.
Oh my, Jiro-san. That's a very interesting idea. I'm very curious to find out if a human weapon can injure me now.
Takano gazed at Tomitake's submachine gun with amusement. It didn't seem to be the uniquely Japanese scorn of assuming it was just a model gun either. She was truly smiling, keenly curious as to what would happen if she were to be shot by it. Tomitake failed to understand that too. Right now, Takano had to be gifted with some form of supernatural power.
You made Takano your priestess? Tamura Hime no Mikoto? How could you be such a fool?
Be quiet. Know that I shall not listen to you. I shall punish all peoples who dare to taint our sacred land. Know that your hindrance is useless. Prepare yourself, Une.
I haven't done anything.
Insolence. Know that all your corruption lies bare before my eyes.
It was never my intention to.
She said the same thing when I arrived here and tormented me badly. She's just a bully.
Tamura no whatever. I hold no grudge against you, but I personally dislike your priestess. So sorry, but if you're choosing right, then we're choosing left.
Priestess of mine, the devil Une stands here. Now is the moment to slay her.
So that's where you are, Une-chan.
Takano looked at the wall. She could see Une's figure through it. Une also noticed she was being stared at and shuddered. Run! We can't stop her! Once Takano checked her right fist, she slowly pressed it into the wall. Then, cracks began to spread through the wall, radiating slowly out from her fist. What's happening? Tomitake-san said run, so run!
Une-chan, hurry! This way! Run! Hee!
The cracks in the wall spread even deeper before their eyes, and they could hear the ground quaking. There was no room left for doubts. Takano was planning to smash right through the wall.
Why does Tamura's priestess have such incredible power when your priestess gets nothing?
Rika, don't say that! If you say that, it's over! Oh!
Rika-chan, what are you doing? Run! Ah! Such a simple wall couldn't stop Takano. No, the priestess of Tamura Hime no Mikoto. She smashed through the wall as easily as crushing a sandcastle.
I found you, Une-chan!
Une-chan!
Une slipped and fell, failing to escape. Takano wasn't foolish enough to let that chance slip by. She strode right in and seized Une by her collar.
Now I've got you.
Huh? Okay.
Sorry, it was the pretty misfortunate girl Satomo-chan. Did you think it was Une-san? Too bad for you.
While she had kept her composure with the gun pointed at her, Takano's mind went blank for a moment after that. After Rika shared Une's secret with them, they prepared the ultimate trap to protect her. They had Satoko, who was close to her height, change into her clothes and take her place. Of course, the slip and fall was all a calculated move to draw Takano's eye towards her. The shock of seeing her otherworldly power smash through the wall wasn't enough to overcome the thrill of trying to catch her in a trap. Satoko!
And here's a present for our fool.
Satoko took advantage of Takano's stupor to place something onto her head. It was a pair of white, fluffy bunny ears?
Now, Hanyu.
Here I go! Flash!
What? What is going on? Huh? What's this? Bunny ears? Huh? Hanyu had used her inhuman powers to interfere with Tamura's own power for a moment, causing a break in the protection Takano received as her priestess. Of course, since Tamura was very powerful due to ruling over vast regions of land, Hanyu could only break her power for a moment. However, that moment was plenty.
Taking you home!
Oh, Rana. Rena's heavy blow was concentrated on Takano's face, and Keiichi swept her feet in the opposite direction. Takano's body spun in the air and then slammed face down onto the mountain of rubble she'd created herself. If she had Tamurahime no Mikoto's protection, then Rena's attack would have been little more than the toying of a house cat. But in that one moment, she had reverted to the ordinary Takano, which meant that it was a finishing blow. Takano suffered a concussion and passed out. What's going on? Is Rena-san really human? I'm surprised. After witnessing Takano's supernatural power just a moment ago, Shion and the others could replace their shock with strange smiles. Of course, because they just witnessed a club member instantly beat her and her superhuman strength. Don't go saying I did nothing, okay? This was my strategy, and I devised it after considering our situation and all our members' abilities. Oh, sis, you're here? I didn't notice. Can't believe she took down that monstrous version of Takano-san. So effortlessly. Yeah, Mion did nothing.
Una-san, there's nothing to fear anymore. You can come out now. It's not scary anymore?
Una timidly emerged from the shadows where she hid wearing Satoko's clothes. Normally, we wouldn't have been able to fool Tamurahime no Mikoto's eyes with just a change of clothes. Takano was certainly able to see Une, even through a wall, with her divine power. Yet when Takano broke through the wall and saw her with her own eyes, her human perception took priority, and she mistook Une for Satoko because of her clothes. That's why she fell for the club member's trap. But the hair color, though. My priestess! How could you?
Takano's passed out. You can't lend her your power anymore.
It's amusing that the Japanese word for passing out is written as losing God. Tamura may have been granting Takano powerful strength as her priestess, but she couldn't give her anything while she was unconscious.
It's unfortunate for you. This wasn't our first or second time dealing with Takano.
This happened because you underestimated the power of my priestess. Now, Tamurahime no Mikoto, you shall be silent for a while. Hanyu Flash!
Okay. Hanyu made scissor symbols with both her hands and placed them near her horns, causing a bright light to rush forth and banish the sight of Tamurahime no Mikoto. Apparently, erasing the image of Tamura didn't mean defeating her, though. But I'm still grateful we won't have to see that annoying face for a while. Tamura let out a scream and a pose like a defeated Sentai villain before disappearing. That's crazy. Now, let's get Takano-san all tied up while we can. She was incredibly strong, too. We'll need to bind her with chains. I felt sorry for her. Takano was just a frail woman without Tamura's power, but her bonds were ridiculously secure. Well, that settles that.
Is everything settled for us?
It is. That mean old nuisance Tamura is gone now.
Tomitake will take care of the rest. Isn't that right?
Is that true, Mion-chan? Amazing. You have everything here. Well, there's nothing we Sonozakis can't get a hold of.
What's going on?
Apparently, there's a powerful radio here. Sounds like Tomitake-san can use it to make contact with the outside. It was the Sonozaki's illegally modified radio. According to Tomitake, it could send signals out without being affected by the radio interference. I'll test it to see if I can contact Tokyo. Une-chan might be the savior we need after all. In order to use the neuroparasite as a weapon, it was essential to have a vaccine for it. So the strength of Une's roots would prove a powerful vaccine against the infection of the N173 and most other viruses like it. Tokyo would definitely be interested in her.
You're incredible, Tomitake-san. You could do anything.
Well, I just studied it a bit as a hobby.
That's the end of our grand adventure, I suppose.
I hope so. I'm already exhausted.
We can leave this town now? Yes, you can get out. Well, you'll probably be held prisoner for a while, though. But they can't do anything without your cooperation, so you'll be treated well, I think.
Une, welcome to Earth. Let's both bloom together here on this planet, with Tamara Hime no Mikoto as well, of course.
I'm so happy. Thank you, Hanyu.
Surely it can't be this easy. Early the next morning, Una and the others were in the school courtyard designated over the radio. Roughly 30 of the Sonozaki group's toughest men were surrounding them and glaring in all directions. A helicopter was approaching. Una was the only one being extracted. Take care! We paid you back for saving us now.
I hope you managed to save everyone with your body's secret. Thank you for taking care of me.
Una was forced to wear airtight clothes. All the JSDF men riding in the helicopter were in them too.
It's a slight shame how we're being left behind, though.
I'm sorry. N17... No. Until we understand the cause of this illness, we can't be allowed to leave. So even though everything's settled with Una-chan, we're still stuck in survival mode for now. Well, you'll be safe as long as you stay here. I think this strange illness will settle down over time. There's fewer of those crazy people already. Peace will soon return to this city. The riders who handed their hearts over to demons continued to kill each other without getting tired of it. But like Kasai said, eventually they'd kill themselves off and things would quiet down. That's so awful. From what Tobitake heard over the radio, they were already preparing to send aid to Shishibone City, and food, water, and other necessities would be transported by air. Such an incredibly large uproar couldn't be wrapped up that easily. But we had our light of hope. Une was the key.
Thank you.
Do your best out there. I'm happy to welcome you to this planet.
I'm happy too. I'm super happy.
Una waved her hand from the helicopter flying away. The club members all waved innocently back at her. Only Rika absent-mindedly watched her go. She was pondering something she couldn't explain in Una's smile as she left. I think Una's evil, bro. There's no way it's that easy. Afterward, she was transferred to Tokyo's facility, the National Institute of Infectious Diseases. With the disaster already reaching several 100,000 people, it was no longer possible to cover up the existence of Hinamizawa syndrome. The world was in an uproar over this mysterious virus, capable of making humans randomly go violent. Of course, the secret research institutions of the major nations that knew about neuroparasites were paying attention to the progress of the current neuroparasite biohazard. They dispatched many researchers to help. Because there was no guarantee it would remain solely Japan's problem once it reached that point. Samples of Una's cerebrospinal fluid were taken and transported to the most classified research labs of each nation. Evil! Evil!
My seeds have reached every corner of this blue flower bed. I'm happy. I'm super happy.
Evil! Foolish leader of the horned people, tremble in fear at your sin of unleashing that terrifyingly corrupt people upon our world.
It's already too late. Your and Takano's evil plot is finished now. Oh, oh, oh!
Tamura Hime no Mikoto, if you have something you want to say, why not say it? What was it you were trying to achieve? Takano was your priestess, so Takano was following your orders and trying to accomplish some specific task. What was it?
It's not even worth asking. She was bullying Una and trying to spread Hinamizawa syndrome everywhere to sow chaos. Oh!
That doesn't make sense though, Hanyu. The syndrome is a tainted people to her, right? So why would Tamura have Takano spread them elsewhere? Tomitake said that Takano was going to defeat a devil, and in doing so, save humanity. Then she started spreading N-173. She's both trying to save humanity and trying to destroy it. These goals contradict each other, but I didn't pay it any mind because I was sure it was just one of Takano's crazy delusions. But if it was all as Tamura ordered, then none of it was meaningless.
A mere child of man, let alone the priestess of the foolish horned people, wouldn't understand, even if I were to tell you. Ah, how foolish you are.
Please don't look down on me. Unlike her, my head isn't filled with cream puffs.
Rika, I don't understand what you're getting at all.
Tamura loathes the horned people, so why would she try to spread them outside of Hinamizawa? It can't be.
The horned people and Une's people had equally strong roots. On top of that, Tamura called Une a devil. And she told Takano that she would save humanity.
You had Takano spread N-173, so that Une couldn't spread herself? Yes. After all, just as those infected by Une couldn't be infected by N-173, the reverse was also true. If you infected them with N-173, then they couldn't be infected by Une.
But if she infects them with us, then those with weak minds will be in big trouble. There's no worry about that with Une, though.
How do you know that? You've just convinced yourself that that's the case after communicating with Une, right? In other words, you've just accepted Une's claims without question, haven't you?
Oh? I see. It appears the leader's foolishness has not infected her priestess.
That means you made a hard choice. You decided that handing over a portion of your land, the entirety of Shishibone City, to the tainted people was at least preferable to that.
Thank you for the hydrate and stretch. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Probably gonna nap later, though. I was up late last night.
Isn't that right? Which means that you knew about Une, didn't you?
Hers is an accursed race which brought forth great catastrophe upon her motherland.
Oh my gosh. What was I doing? I was playing games with my friend.
This is super fun.
Une, it's been a while. Foolish Hanyu! Know her true nature and tremble with terror at your sin.
Tabura Hime no Mikoto, you totally pulled a fast one on me. The moment I awoke and tried to bloom, the flower bed around me was already filled with that fool's flowers. I'm sure she did get you good. This cream puff for brains is a useless weed, but her roots are strong enough that you couldn't beat them. You tried to make your infection explode through the population, but since Takano had already spread N-173, you couldn't do that. I was at a total loss, but then an idiot who believed my story just so happened to show up.
No.
Even though her brain was an empty cream puff, lacking even in cream, she finally realized that she'd been tricked. Hanyu had believed that they understood everything about each other after her communication with Une. Hanyu had openly shared everything about herself because she was so simple, but that wasn't the case for Une. She cleverly hid her true nature with her terrifying plot to deceive Hanyu.
Which means, Tamura Hime no Mikoto, you saw through her, didn't you?
Know that the plot from the leader of such an accursed people could never deceive my insight.
Tamura had known what Une was after. Une looks creepy? Yeah, she's a freak. Une's goal was to propagate herself throughout every corner of this blue planet's huge flower bed.
If she did that, then all would perish, huh? So you had to fight, just like you once fought Hanyu's people.
Hanyu said Tamura was once mean to her, but that probably wasn't her just being mean. From Tamura's perspective, she was likely fighting to protect herself. Fortunately, they learned Hanyu's people couldn't live outside of Hinamizawa, so they managed to maintain 1,000 years of peace by avoiding each other. However, if a new people that weren't bound to such a small area came here...
I see. To you, she certainly would be a devil, and so you used Takano to stop her. But calling her a devil that'll destroy humanity is going too far. She might be a devil that would destroy you, but the humans don't know or care which parasite is living in their heads.
I suppose that's the limit of the understanding of the Horned People's priestess. Foolish.
It's super too late now, you idiots. We're totally consuming this whole planet. Now awaken, my children, my seeds. Sink your roots into this world and bloom. Bloom and spread yourselves wide.
Una spread her arms like she was spreading a pair of wings, and issued her orders to all of her children scattered throughout the whole world. The children of man couldn't quarantine Una's seeds with their mere concept of disease prevention. The humans researching her across the world were already infected. America, Georgia State, Atlanta. America's Centers for Disease Control and Prevention was the fortress on the front lines protecting humanity from viral infections, and also the highest world authority on the subject. Yet in a secret ward, the Neuroparasite Research Division, they were researching her children. They were researching it with the greatest precautions and most modern equipment, but the techniques of mere mortals were unable to stop the spread of the children of a god. The head researcher first collapsed on a bus on his day off. People rushed to his aid one after another and collapsed as well until the driver also lost consciousness. Fortunately, the bus was already stopped. Yet that wasn't a silver lining, because neither humanity nor even inhuman beings possessed the means to stop the spread of Una's children. The same thing happened in Sverdlovsk Oblast, within the Russian Federation, right in Yekaterinburg's Secret Biological Weapon Research Center. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to speak Russian. Of course, it also happened in Japan's National Institute of Infectious Diseases within Shinjuku, Tokyo, as well as in other research centers in England, France, China, Korea, and other nations too. And then they traveled through the transportation technology that humanity had foolishly overdeveloped, spreading to all lands throughout the world. However, humanity lacked the means to notice it at all. Roughly 2 weeks after the initial spread of infection, when Una's children had spread throughout every corner of the globe, the first symptoms developed. The infected, though at this point, the infected and all humanity were synonymous, then learned for the very first time that they were all infected with something unknown to them. People were afflicted with intense drowsiness, and one after another they crumpled and fell asleep on the spot. They had become a seed bed. Once they finished consuming all of the nutrients of their host, they broke out through the host's body, spread more seeds, and consumed all of humanity. Because Una's people had no intention of coexisting with humanity at all. Once they had consumed their flower bed, they would travel through space once more in search of the next. An accursed people indeed. 7 weeks after the initial infection, humanity's population was reduced to 20% of its former size. Of course, even that 20% was being culled as well. Then they would once more return to space in search of an organism with a brain to host them. Afterward, only the hosts of the Horned People, who couldn't be infected by that accursed people, would remain on Earth. Which meant that only those people in this region, who Takano had infected with N-173 and had not turned their hearts over to a demon, managed to survive. This reminds me of the plot to Elfen Lied. Oh really? I've never tried that one. There were far too few humans remaining to maintain civilized society, so eventually they too would perish completely.
Super super fun, super happy, super awesome, super duper, super
Une!
And a bit of the enemy.
Ha! Consuming everything is my people's only entertainment. And I mean, consuming an entire planet is super fun. Once my people have consumed them all, no one will be able to get in our way. When faced with me, the weak flowers of this planet are like sugar lumps before hot coffee.
You sure done it now. You pretended to be weak so you could use us to advance your plans. Well done.
I couldn't fool Tamura Hime no Mikoto. She was clever.
Do not underestimate me. Know that I am the leader of the people ruling over this nation of Yamato.
Yet that hornhead and her priestess, you two were super easy to fool. When the god's a fool, so's the priestess. You two were both super dumb. When the god's incompetent, so is the priestess. You're a useless god with nothing useful to your name. No power and no supernatural power either. You're a super Dumbo.
What is this? She's ticking me off 5 times as much as Tamura.
I really agree. It's really annoying to hear us called incompetent. Know that you are indeed incompetent. You are tainted people and now foolish people. You should hit your head on a steamed bun and die. Well, I never knew that Una was going to destroy the world. It's not my fault. You know that all other races are enemies, yet you just handed it over to her. There's a limit to how stupid one can be. Oh! You could have just told us that, Tamura, so it's your fault, Tamura. Be quiet. I will not listen to you, tainted people.
This is super fun. Perish, you stupid gods of this blue flower bed. You stupid humans. You're incompetent priestesses too.
Una laughed loudly while Hanyu and Tamura insulted each other like children. It seemed quite pathetic that this was a fight between gods who had brought about the extinction of humanity. Rika placed a hand on her forehead like she was enduring a headache, but her frustration was winning at that particular moment.
Listen, I don't consider myself a human. And I don't care if our world is destroyed, but there's one thing I just can't forgive. The fact you look at me, Rika Furude, who has overcome the mountain that is hundreds of deaths, and called me incompetent.
I like that it's not even that she killed her friends.
The term incompetent is what you use for a man who goes off to the hot spring at a critical moment. You intend to oppose me? You, a mere child of man? That's super funny.
Rika pulled something out of nowhere that glinted with a silver light.
What is that? Don't you know? It's a kitchen knife, a cooking tool, the perfect instrument for chopping up food, and detestable people. I'm super laughing right now. How do you plan on fighting me with a tool of mankind? That's super funny. Super.
From the perspective of humans, those inhuman beings were like a moon on the water's surface. She could swing a weapon all she wanted in the world of man, but it wouldn't even disturb the water's surface, let alone harm the moon floating in the sky. However, for them to manifest in the world of man, they required a priestess. To put it in human terms, they required a queen carrier as a host. If she defeated Une's queen carrier, was that correct to say? Or was it better to say Une herself? Then she could at least deal a decisive blow to her.
However, my body is super beyond your reach. You can't even leave Shishibone City, so you can't lay a finger on her.
Nearly all of my people have been taken captive. I have no idea where she is at present. If only I could have taken her down while she was trapped in Shishibone. But thanks to this tainted cream puff...
That's enough! Honestly, it's your fault for being so petty, Tamura, and holding a 1,000-year grudge over a single meal! I'll never give you a single grain of rice that has been dedicated to me. I was starving! You could have spared a little!
Stop it, you two. Besides, this battle isn't over yet. Oh, and how are you going to face me by yourself when I've super enveloped your entire world? That's super funny. The battle isn't over. The battle is totally super over already. You're right. This battle is over already, as far as you two can conceive. But from my perspective, it isn't over yet. No, perhaps it's more accurate to say that this battle was over the moment you revealed your true nature. It's over. And it's my victory.
Oh? What nonsense is your priestess spouting? How could she possibly save the world in this situation?
I want to know. I super want to know.
I'm the one who wants to know. It's already too late. The world's ending. How are we going to save this world now?
Hey, how can you not understand? Have you forgotten how this is used?
She's gonna turn back time. Oh? You're going to hack open Una's head with a knife? If she were not a god, I would command you to behead Una indeed!
You two both have your heads filled with cream-free cream puffs. I'll teach you how this knife is used. Right now. Oh, and what do you totally think you're doing? The cause of your defeat was revealing to me your true identity and whereabouts.
Oh? You know where Una is right now? How do you know when even Tamura doesn't? Still, even if you did know, you've got to know there's nothing you can do if she's not here.
It doesn't matter where she is right now. Back then, she was here in Okinomiya. That's all I need to know. What are you saying? I super don't get it. Let me tell you something. You're going to lose. Because you made me mad.
And there she goes.
Let's go back. Back to the moment Une became aware of the other Une and awakened her on this planet.
Alright, well I think we're gonna save that for next time. My voice is tired. That's so crazy though.